some of the gaps and weaknesses in the system. Children, for instance, are not supposed to be held or detained even temporarily in the same space as adults. I mean, for obvious reasons, their vulnerability. But we know there are many instances where this happens. We know many of the detention facilities, like police stations, don't have sometimes separate cells or holding centers. Actually, they should not be in cells. There have been guidelines issued on that, about that even by the Chief Justice. If you go to some of the police stations, you see them, that children should not be held in the same room or the same holding facility with adults for the reasons that you have mentioned. Children are very vulnerable, and when you put them together with adults, many things can go wrong. So these are some of the challenges and gaps in the criminal justice system.
You know, there's a tendency to kind of write off some of the children that actually get involved at whatever level with what might be considered criminal behavior or antisocial behavior, or even, as we call them, in conflict with the law. There's a tendency to write them off. Huyu ameharibika, yake imeisha. What would you say to those kinds of beliefs, maybe even born out of frustration of the crime that allegedly has been committed?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. First of all, we need to study better why children, for instance, would get into conflict with the law. There are many reasons. There's often an assumption that it's because of a flaw in their character, and therefore we need to punish them or give up on them. But we know that there are many reasons, many vulnerabilities that actually lead young people into that kind of behavior. Some of them are contextual, about the environment. What do children do during holidays? If they are only hanging around a place where drugs are being sold, they are young people, they're experimenting. The temptation to get into drugs is very high. So the alternatives is the responsibility of the society and the adults and the community to ensure that we provide alternatives to ensure that this vulnerability of children is actually addressed. The principle is that no child is beyond correction. One can even extend that to human beings. The reason why, even to adults, even the reason why we call our prison service correction service is because the belief is that these are correction services. No one is beyond correction. No one is beyond rehabilitation.